Hello and welcome to Cooking Classic. I'm Kathy Coslett and I'm with Certified Executive Chef John Hudak, and we are here at the Culinary Arts Institute on the campus of Luzerne County Community College. We're in the Kowalski Auditorium and Media Center, and we are joined today by a lot of culinary students from isn't it? It's amazing. You should see all these white coats. I'm sure you are right now. The Westside Career Technology Center in Luzerne County and the Career Technology Center in Lackawanna County. So welcome everyone, and we're glad you're with us. And we are going to move on to Executive Chef John Hudak, who is also, by the way, the chef at Vanderland's restaurant.
That's correct.
In Kingston, and he is making a Chairman's Reserve filet mignon.
Chairman's Reserve. I mean, you hear about wine and vintners. You hear filet mignon. The reason I chose the name Chairman's Reserve is because the filet mignon with an attitude. It's got a filet mignon, but the bone is left on. So it's kind of a reserve.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
It's the same cut as the filet, but we left the bone on for a little bit different presentation.
So if we want to do that at home, do we need to actually ask the butcher?
This would be an ask the butcher type thing.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So don't look for this in the prime meats cabinet there. Ask.
What we're going to do next, Kathy, with any protein, we're going to dredge in a little bit of seasoned oil. Okay, so it won't stick to our char grill. I'm just going to walk this way.
What do you have in that oil?
We
the
have some
seasoned oil.
Julienned extra virgin olive oil, some black pepper, a little fresh rosemary, a little fresh thyme, and just a touch of kosher salt. You don't want an awful lot of salt on right now, so it extracts any moisture.
All right, so you're coating all sides of that meat too.
Absolutely.
You're just not doing the two.
Yeah, you don't just do one
sides.
side. So we're going to take it. We're going to put it on the char grill in reference to a clock. We want to make it like 10 o'clock.
Okay.
We're going to leave it there for a minute or two, and then we're going to change it to 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And you get those nice little crosshatch marks on it.
All right. Okay. Tell us about that glove, by the way.
Gloves are used an awful lot in food service and restaurant industry. One was I didn't want to dip my hand in oil and go right to the grill.
Okay.
So for a sanitation reason, we use the glove. If food is not going to be cooked anymore or served immediately, we use a glove.
Okay.
So it's a safety thing.
All right. So now we're going to move on, and you're going to prepare another part of this entire dish, correct?
There's a lot of little components to this dish. When you read the recipe, you don't get scared. We used some golden beets.
Yeah, they're wonderful, aren't they? They're one of my favorites.
Golden beets are so cool. Most people think of red beets and they think, ew, they're kind of nasty. They bleed all over the plate. Golden beets don't do that. They don't bleed, but they get that nice, beautiful flavor. We have some nice grape tomatoes. We're going to add to it. What we're making here is a little
I'll take it for you.
beet and tomato salad. And we're just going to season it with a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of salt. Very simple. A little bit of fresh chopped parsley, and you can use any kind of vinaigrette you like, anything that stimulates your appetite. I chose to make a sherry vinaigrette.
Okay.
And we just kind of put it. A squeeze bottle in the hands of a chef is a dangerous thing. So you kind of everything goes in a squeeze
Standing
bottle.
next to a chef with a squeeze bottle in his hand is a dangerous thing.
So we're just going to toss that around.
Okay,
the flavors
that looks
marry
great.
together. And again, it looks like a lot of ingredients in the recipe. When you start putting them together, it's actually very, very simple.
Okay.
We're going to slide over here to our grill. Up our filet
and move it to 2 o'clock.
Right, 2 o'clock to another section of the grill that we didn't have it on, so it stays nice and hot, so we get comparable marks. Okay.
Well, no, I wouldn't have thought about that. That's a good point.
Well, you actually lower the heat of the grill by putting the cold filet on there. Okay. We're gonna move on. We're gonna start our sauce. We're just gonna get it started, so it's all ready, and we're gonna do that by heating up a saute pan. We're gonna do this what I call restaurant style. Just one dish, all the minute. Ready to go.
Now, is this a dish, by the way, that you came up with on your own?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a compilation of many things.
Okay, some of your favorite?
I like steak. I'm a steak guy.
Yeah, I am too, I have to admit.
Filet mignon is cool, but I like a nice steak, potatoes. I'm a very simple country guy. So we just do some very simple ingredients, but like I said, this is kind of with a little bit of an attitude. What we're doing also is using parts of bacon in every component of the dish. So in here I have a little bit of clarified butter, which is butter with the milk solids removed, and some of the bacon drippings that we have. Okay,
now, how does someone go about doing that? The milk solids removed.
If you put your butter in a pan under very, very low heat, the solids will actually rise to the top. And you skim them
right off.
And then you can just pour off the pure clarified.
And what
butter.
does that do for you in cooking?
Raises the smoke point, okay, and then it gives us the balance of we can add the salt when we want to rather than having it in that.
Okay.
Okay, we're just going to slide back over here and flip our steak. And then go back over. So you have some nice
Oh,
marks
that looks
on it.
beautiful.
Looks good.
Yeah, it does.
And again, we're going to take that to about a medium rare temperature. You can cook it any way you want at home, obviously.
All right, in go the mushrooms.
These are shiitake mushrooms.
Okay. Does it matter what kind of mushroom you use, really?
Whatever kind you like.
Okay.
These are a Japanese style mushroom that grow on a log. The more you water the log, the more they grow and the faster they grow. We're going to add a little bit of garlic, about a teaspoon, and about a teaspoon of diced shallots as well.
They're a beautiful mushroom too, aren't they?
They are. They're absolutely wonderful.
And why a shallot as opposed to an onion?
A little bit milder flavor.
No.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to leave these
So
just
then
in
going to be
case.
glazed with some Chianti. This is shiitake Chianti. So this is just a strictly Chianti.
Yeah, no, I wanted to know, why did you choose a Chianti? Just because that's what you like, and is that important to remember in cooking too?
You could use any type of wine you like.
Okay.
Okay. You see how the mushroom really absorbs
Yeah,
most of that?
look at that.
And that's great because now all of our flavor of the wine is going into the mushroom, which is
Okay.
a wonderful thing. You just reach across here for 1 second. We have some homemade beef stock. We make at the restaurant. We make all of our own stocks. We're just going to add about 2 ounces. Just let that start to reduce.
Okay.
And reducing, we're just going to concentrate the flavors. We'll turn that down and just going to let it simmer just a little bit.
All right, and how's our steak over
Back
there?
over our
How was
steak.
that for timing?
Here's another little kitchen trick. We just took a regular Idaho
Oh,
potato.
look at that.
Rather than taking the steak and putting it directly on what we call a sizzler or a cookie sheet at home, we rest it on the potato. This way it doesn't create any burning on the bottom.
Okay.
It raises it up. So we're just going to take this and
Oh,
put this into the oven.
that's a great trick.
See that? Giving you some of the secrets today. We're going to close it up, put it in there. And
They won't know what to do at home.
The next step in our sauce, we're just going to add a little bit of what's called demi-glace. And this is a beef stock that has been thickened and reduced.
And how did you thicken?
I thicken it with a roux. Fat and flour cooked together, used to thicken. We're just going to pop that off to the side. Okay. We're good to go. We're going to go on to our next step.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to move along here. We want you to join us, of course, in just a minute or two, and you can see the next phase of this wonderful recipe. See you in a minute. Thanks for joining us, and for those of you who have just tuned in, this is Cooking Classic, and this is Chef John Hudak from Vanderland's Restaurant in Kingston, and he is making one of his favorite recipes. It's Chairman's Reserve Filet Mignon.
Correct.
And
Correct.
we are in what, part, I don't know, 2 or 3 of this whole
We're on
process
three
here.
or four, right.
Okay.
We have the sauce made, we have our golden beet and tomato
Right,
salad made
yeah,
as
this
a
looks
condiment. Our filet has been grilled, it's in the oven. And we're going to go ahead and start our potato bacon hash. And real simple ingredients. We have some Yukon Gold potatoes that have been blanched. And I just cut these in a small dice. I blanch them in a deep fryer for just a few minutes, just to get a little bit of color on them initially, and also to par cook them.
So if you don't have a deep fryer, can you just do that in a pan real quickly at home? But you really should not skip that particular step?
Right.
Okay.
Well, blanching means to par cook. So you could have done it by boiling them in some salted water.
So you don't have to get the little color part,
Right.
is what I mean.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And again, we're going to go in with our clarified butter and our bacon. And we're going to add the potatoes right in. Just going to let them sizzle a little bit. And we're going to add some bacon, which has been also blanched or par cooked a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're just going to toss this around.
That's the part I want to learn.
Again, if you can't, you'll go get to that. You always use a spoon and toss it. That's a chef thing, I guess. We're going to season with a little bit of salt and black pepper.
Okay.
Okay. And by blanching, we've kind of cut down that cook time that we're going to need. So we get some nice color, let them sizzle a little bit, and we'll go from there.
So we could eat those just the way they are.
Pretty much. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And they're getting
All right,
good.
I'll leave that for you.
Yeah, salt and pepper can
Getting a
stay.
little overzealous here.
Okay. And a little bit of parsley.
Taking my job a little too seriously.
Right.
All right, there
Toss
he
it around.
goes.
Next thing we're going to do is just sear our shrimp. So we're going to use jumbo shrimp to garnish. So we're going to take, again, a little bit of oil in a pan.
Now, Chef Hudak said that was to garnish, so he's really just getting ready for the end
Right.
even of this while we wait for the filet mignon.
We're building all these things together with a nice little sizzle. And when we're ready to actually plate, we're going to put it together. So now we're
Scale
kind
of the shrimp is moving
Yeah.
around in the pan. I got scared there for a minute.
Now we're doing two things at once here, which happens in a restaurant all the time.
Okay.
All right, so we have potato bacon hash going. We have our shrimp being sautéed. Okay. Give that a quick flip. Make sure you season them on both sides. Don't want food to season only on one side. A little bit of salt and pepper on that one.
And about how long will they be in there? That takes like minutes, doesn't
Minutes. Yeah, you don't want to overcook seafood by any means. What we're going to do, we're just going to add a little bit of white wine,
it?
Chablis.
Okay, and it's cleaned and deveined.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
we're gonna
Chianti with this steak and white wine with your shrimp.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're just going to pop that aside
Okay.
till we're ready for plating. Okay?
All right, so
Get some
everything's...
nice color on the hash, as you see.
Okay.
We're going to take just a little bit of our beef stock. And,
Okay.
okay? And again, just impart that flavor of the beef.
Well, that
Toss it
looks
around.
really good.
Okay? And we're going to finish it with a pat of butter. And again, we'll be ready for plating.
Why the butter, even though we have the bacon in there? We started out with a little oil.
You know, creaminess, fat is flavor. We're not cooking on a
Fat is flavor.
dietary restriction at this one.
Said the chef.
That's right.
Executive chef. All right, and we are ready for plating, so we're going to take another break, come back, put it all together, and wait until you see this. See you in a minute. We are back, and this is Cooking Classic. Chef John Hudak has one step left before he actually plates his Chairman's Reserve filet mignon.
That's right. And that's a nice saute of vegetables. So again, we're just going to go with a little bit of clarified butter. And we have a nice julienne, a long, thin strip of carrot, zucchini, and yellow squash. And you can use any kind of vegetables you like.
Now, I laughed when we were in the commercial. I said, now that wasn't so bad. When we first opened, there were ingredients everywhere. And now, like, it looks so simple.
It is. It is. Cooking isn't rocket science. It's you having fun with the food. That's what it comes down to. We're going to let those vegetables just wilt just a little bit. In the meantime, we're going to pop our filet out of the oven.
Okay.
So we want to let it rest a little bit. And remember we said that potato is there so it wouldn't brown on the bottom. See, it has nice marks on the bottom.
That's terrific.
Another little restaurant secret.
That's a great trick, yeah.
Little restaurant secret. Those potatoes are awesome to eat. Now you have all that flavor from the beef sitting on top of it.
Telling all today.
Telling all.
Cooking live, rather, Cooking Classic.
Splash of white wine into our veg.
Okay.
Okay, and we are about ready to plate. We're just going to finish our sauce.
That's real fast. You weren't kidding when you said that'll only take a minute. He wasn't
Doesn't
kidding.
take long. And with this, we're just going to add a pat of butter to our sauce, just a little bit. It's called, the fancy name here is monte au beurre, which means to lift with butter. And it just adds a smoothness and a richness to the sauce. We're just going to kind of swirl that together. Our veg is good.
Now, how long would you let this rest?
You like to let it rest for at least a minute before you put it on the plate if you can.
It's not a big deal either then.
This way, and you allow it to rest so the juices and the moisture stays inside.
Okay.
Okay. And again, I know I started the show with gloves on, and we're going to be plating food, so I'm going to have the gloves on.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start with our potato bacon hash, and there's many ways you could present this, any way you feel comfortable. But I'm going to do it the way we've done it in the restaurant before.
This is a very important aspect of this entire process, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Plating is a big thing.
Good.
Plating is a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to take our filet.
That looks so nice.
And we're going to set it kind of on and off. Okay. Like so. I'm going to take. You can still hear all our vegetables sizzling over there. I don't want them to get too crazy.
You notice I wasn't jumping in to do the flipping part.
A little bit of golden beaten tomato salad.
Yeah, that looks incredible.
Adds a nice textural difference.
Yeah,
also, it's not ice cold, but it's also not warm, like the other components of the dish. Our julienne veg will marry real well right here.
Now, is this on the menu?
This is not. We ran this as a feature.
Okay.
And again, it did very well. Only because of the uniqueness. It's a very unique item.
So hopefully you'll be getting some calls to put it back.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. We're going to take our shiitake sauce. Shiitake Chianti sauce.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I like Chianti. Do you?
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
That's a nice one.
It's a very classical type wine. You have all the new things right now, but Chianti has been around for a long time and will continue to be around.
This is amazing. When I first saw this recipe, I thought, wow.
We're going to take our shrimp
Is he
put
ever
on top.
ambitious? Look at it. It's great. It's
Sometimes
so
more guts and brains,
There you go.
We're going to take a little bit of microgreens. Microgreens are a hot thing right now, just to garnish the dish.
That looks beautiful.
So there we have our
That looks absolutely
bacon and
beautiful.
potato hash with our julienne vegetables and our golden beaten tomato salad.
Okay, well, thank you very
awesome.
much for joining us. And don't forget, you can check our website for the recipe. And don't forget to visit Chef John Hudak at Vanderlyn's in Kingston. Thanks for joining Cooking Classic, and we'll see you again.
Thank you.
You're
Try it.
I will. Here we go. So here, you slice.
No, you. Help yourself.
Okay.
I've had it before.
All righty. Now, all right. I love steak.